I'm Caroline Broderick. I'm a Homes.com news reporter, and I am here with the three heads of design at Ashton Woods, Jay, Leigh, and Valerio. So, we have some design insights from each of you that I'm excited to hear about, from interior design to working with buyers and their selections
Yeah.
and to actual architecture. So, we are at Design and Construction Week. So, I think it's only fair that we
Yay.
kind of start, a lot of brands, they are launching new products here, and there's a lot of software solutions. So is there anything you've seen on the show floor, maybe home design wise, that is really speaking to you, interesting you, or anything maybe software wise that is something you want to see?
I just left the cafe booth, and one thing that our
With
homeowners,
General Electric. Yeah.
cafe, General Electric, GE. I lovingly refer to them as cafe because that just sounds a little bougier. But, but um, one thing that our customers or we know homeowners are looking for these days is the opportunity to personalize and to personalize in an affordable way. Like everybody would love to build a custom house, but that gets tiresome and perhaps a little overwhelming sometimes. But one thing that I saw today was the hood canopies that go over a range, and now they're offering them so you can put peel and stick wallpaper on the top of it, or you can put tile or quartz countertop type material, and really gives people an opportunity to personalize their kitchen, not just one time, but even maybe seasonally. So that was pretty exciting. I was really happy to see that.
That's very fun.
But to me, their whole display, it's for we're very visual,
Yeah.
and to be able to go in these spaces and see kitchens and sculleries and mud rooms and all kind of come to life in with their creative people putting their best thoughts forward, then gives us the inspiration to go and include it in our houses. But I mean, I think the whole series, the cafe, um,
Profile,
profile,
monogram was
monogram, yeah, it
yeah.
just always blows your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the cool thing is you're talking about the hoods. They had a hood in a glass wall, much like
Correct.
Valerio
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
did on our concept home
yeah, yeah.
not too long ago.
No.
Really looks cool.
Yeah,
Very
and for me, I
interesting.
just arrived this morning. I just started to walk around, and I was thinking, okay, I think we need something special, right? We need a memory, and we are so different each other, and so every one of us wants to have their home reflect their personality.
Yeah.
And so I was looking left and right, and my eyes was going nowhere. Everything was the same color, the same mood. Also, it is very comfortable. Was going on colors, on a lot of wallpaper, or
Mhm.
tiles with texture, with movement, or with a flower, like the whole Sanderson on the fabric, now translate on tiles. And this was make me happy because I really make the difference,
Yeah.
and we can create homes for our buyers completely fit on what they are, and not just what everyone sees around. I think this make amazing. And
E
here you can see every
Everything,
corner.
yeah. I think one
Absolutely.
thing you said is sorry, we'll just talk, but you mentioned, like, floral patterns and things, and in years past, at some of the shows or some of the innovation you see, it looks very contemporary and very streamlined, which is lovely, and we still love kind of a minimalist type vibe, but something I've just seen in a short time being here this morning is a lot of floral.
Yeah.
Even in Visual Comfort has a gorgeous booth, and they have a large chandelier. I was running late to get here, but I snapped a picture of it's like gold butterflies coming out. It was
Wow.
just cool. Like it's nice to see kind of a nod towards nature and kind of back to getting back outside.
And there's something else that I've noticed in this morning being here too. And you mentioned you used to see a lot of contemporary. Maybe you're seeing florals. I'm seeing maybe nostalgia, maybe a little traditional elements coming back in the home. Is that something that any of you have kind of picked on buyers wanting?
I certainly have. I just coming through the studio. I think one thing that is a interesting topic to think about right now is you think, let's say empty nesters are coming through and they're buying a new home and they're kind of downsizing, and I think there's this assumption that they want traditional design in their home, and but they're the ones that we're seeing with the minimalist and the contemporary. They want the tech, they want the refrigerator that makes the list for you. However, we're seeing a younger generation of buyers come in, and you make the assumption that they want the tech, and they don't. They want a house that looks like a generation before them, and so they're looking for the hardware that's round and soft and a little bit more traditional in nature. And that's not absolute, but it's a little bit opposite of what you might think, which is kind of cool to
But
see.
it's kind of the comfort of the house that their grandparents lived in.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and not. they don't want to live in that house, but you have elements of it, that you layer in,
Yep.
and it's
It feels like home.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I think that more now more than all the times is people they are not afraid to show who they are, right? And
Mhm.
so what Jay was saying about layering is our life is made of layer, right? Experience with travel, and we try today to bring everything in the house. I think the most major mistake people trying to do is to go when they move in new home, go in the store and buy everything, right?
Mm.
To the bedrooms, the kitchen, the living room, and feel impersonal. I
Mm.
always suggest don't do it. Just buy one piece at a time and carry with you what really matter for you. And then so when you walk in these homes, they are no house, they are homes. You feel the soul that you don't feel it's like in a museum, right? So I think this was make unique.
We
Or
have
somebody else's house, somebody's version of the
right.
house. I mean, and again, I think the things that we're seeing with materials, with tiles, with fixturing and kitchens, um, there are there's much more depth, I think, to the offering now than there was 10 years ago, where
Yeah.
everything was grayish,
Yeah.
and it's I think we're really everybody's now feeling comfortable with expressing themselves and letting their house reflect that, which gives us the opportunity in the studios and with our merchandising to really elevate that experience.
Absolutely. I'm seeing blue stoves, red stoves, like rose gold hardware on fridges. Like it's very
Retro
exciting.
fridges,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's exciting. And something I want to ask too, we're talking about how people want to feel in their homes. And Jay, architecture wise, maybe with the floor plan, I'm kind of curious on any recent changes, maybe 5, 6 years to the floor plan that's kind of intriguing to you. And then Valerio, as a follow up, how might people be living in their homes differently and kind of impacting that?
I mean, 5, 6 years ago, the big thing is people working from home.
Right.
I mean, I never thought I'd work from home. Never have. Now I love working from home, but I need a spot to do it, and I need a quiet spot. So we're trying to incorporate things that could be as small as a pocket office the size of a cubicle at work. It could also be a storage room if somebody doesn't work from home. Two houses with multiple spaces that could flex. I think that's one. The kitchen. We've had um, cultural buyers that wanted dirty kitchens and all. Well, that's now. I think people are realizing, wow, I can have a scullery, an
Yeah.
ancillary space, and again, that space can meet different needs in each household. So it doesn't have to. It can be just a ginormous pantry if somebody doesn't want to finish it out. But those things, and then I've heard a lot about. Um, we have the open floor plan, and I think that's here to stay. People want the kitchen,
Right.
the casual dining, and the family. I think the big thing we're trying to do is give everybody a quiet spot, an away spot. So the family can be in the open space if somebody wants to retreat, and it's, watch sports, read, have their own time. They've got that space. They don't have to do it in the communal space. So I think those are kind of the three or four
Yeah.
big items.
I've heard that about kind of like a silent escape and also like maybe even for your guests, giving them one. But Valerio, anything to add to
Yeah,
that?
I think is the major probably switch from 5 years ago is the footprint. The house they're coming smaller and smaller and smaller, but doesn't mean that we cannot give to the people that are going to live in the house their own space in the way. I think the floor plan has become the number one elements that make feel people live comfortable also in a smaller space, creating multifunctional spaces that is not just dedicated to dine anymore, but can be used in different way. So, and with the flexibility of the floor plan, that this is what I think is the major,
Well,
right?
yeah, that
We have,
flex space, the away
yeah,
space. I mean, to me, if we can have a space in the house that can be for living, for dining, for working, sleeping, the more, those are all the kinds of things that you do in your house. The more functions that space can answer to individual buyers, the better that house is going to live for that consumer. And we're in the production home building business, we need to build as few houses as possible to attract as many people as possible. So having that flex space is huge because our salespeople can download with a buyer and say, oh, you want a bedroom, oh, you want a study, oh, you want a formal dining area. We got it.
I think
And
as American, we are very spoiled in the way that we are used to big
I
spaces,
won't argue
right?
with
I
that.
grew up
Yeah.
in Italy,
true story.
and I was living in 800 square feet with my brother and my parents, and we
Yeah.
have a space for everything, right? And then when I moved here, I had a home of 3,300 square feet. I say, oh my gosh, it's a palace, right? And the worst part is you tend to fit all the spaces with everything. But sometimes, people, and we have this conversation with Jay so many times, they say, oh, I want 5,000 square feet. Why? We can deliver to you the same with 2,000 square feet. It'll be more affordable and you're not missing anything, right? So sometimes people, they have these ideas that square feet means space or functional space. In reality, it's about how you
How well it's
work
designed.
on the floor.
It's good design. I
It's
mean,
a
we
good
we
design.
we cobble it together, take out the extraneous spaces. But I mean, to me, again, you know, I need to live in 3,200 square
Yeah.
feet or 2,700. I mean, tell us why, and
Mhm.
we'll show you that you don't need that space.
I'll add too that one thing that's nice. These guys design like the most beautiful floor plans and the most productive spaces that people can live in. But with us, then they have an opportunity to come into the studio, and we talk a lot about flex space, and we talk about like kind of general concepts, whether it's eat, work, sleep, kind of moments. But then when we get to personalize, we get to actually meet with the buyer like one on one, and now all of a sudden that secondary bedroom becomes a place where you're going to go and do yoga, or we're now going to build a room for your two dogs, or it's going to be a room
Art studio.
yeah, right. Or well, I mean, and then I think one thing we haven't touched is the multi-gen space too. Is like, because it's not just our parents, but now it's our children that are kind of coming back into the space. And you're right, it doesn't have to be 5,000 square feet. It can be something that we name and personalize for the people buying homes from
And this is
us.
the way you usualize the space, right?
Yeah.
We just made a renovation on the master bedroom, and basically, my wife, our office now is in the corridor of the closet area, right? And she's happy. She didn't want to stay with me downstairs because I have to work from home. But she's happy. She has her desk, vanity, office
She's a
desk.
designer too, so she's if she's
Yeah,
happy, then it's a good space.
exactly. So she has her own space, so it's perfect, right? You have just to
Yeah.
utilize space in the way that you feel that you are comfortable to work with.
Fantastic. So a lot of personalization, and it sounds like
Yeah.
you're working with a lot of buyers today to do that. And we could talk forever about design, I think, with you three especially. But I want to thank you three for your
Thank
time
you.
today and sharing your insights. And thank you again. It was
Thank
a
you for having
pleasure.
us.
Thank you.
you.